Praise the Lord, wonderful people. You're welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Sandra Aloya. For those of you who are watching me for the first time, yes, and I am just here to inspire you, share with you the word of the Lord, give you some relationship advice, share some of my testimonies with you, and so that we build each other in the Lord. And I am also gospel artist. I just released my first song. It is called Yahweh. It's on the channel. If you've not yet watched it, you can go and watch and listen to the song. Yes, I've not yet released the video, but soon I will be working on the video, and by the time I post it, I will notify you. Yes, so for those of you who have not yet subscribed, please do so. Turn on the notification bell so that in case I'm to post the video, you will know when I have posted it. And also like, comment, share with me your stories, your testimonies. Maybe if you have any question that you want me to talk about or anything, you can also reach out. Yes, so today I'm going to share with you about something so amazing. And it's a relationship advice. And for all my single ladies and men out there, this is a new year, and yeah. So I just want you to know that you should embrace this new year, even as it has come. Don't look at the things you've not accomplished last year and think that this year will be the same. No. There are different things and different plans that we make, but it is the Lord that brings everything to pass. So if last year it wasn't possible maybe for you to get married, or it wasn't possible for you to get a spouse, a job, a contract, anything, maybe you're trusting the Lord for a child, there are many things we can pray to God for, and just because we've not yet received the answer doesn't mean that the Lord will not answer. Yes, so today I'm going to share with you my personal testimony, something I experienced, and when I gave my life to Christ, I admired men of God. When I talk about men of God, I know every man who is born again can be called a man of God, but I'm talking about the servants of God, those who serve within the church. When you talk about the apostles, the prophets, teachers, evangelists, those people who serve in the church. So I had this desire to settle with a man of God, yes, and I would always see myself because I was so devoted to service, and I wanted someone who I would stand with as we serve the Lord. And I was only looking at church ministry by then, and I didn't know much about service. I didn't know that service is in many ways, and I didn't know that the Lord can use you even outside the church. Yes, so I would only put my eyes on the men of God. So there are times maybe when we would be having conferences or maybe other programs from other churches, and whenever they would invite a certain man of God, maybe from a particular country or from a particular church, your heart would be there and you're ready, expectant, ready to receive the word. And then the other thing that me, Sandra, I don't know about other people, I would notice, I would look at the hand, if I would see if maybe he had a ring or not. So that would tell me that this man of God is either married or not. And so if I found out that he's not married, I'll be like, maybe you never know, he might set his eyes on me or what, because by then I was in the choir, and I was also an intercessor within the church, and serving with the youth and all that. So I was there serving, and when you're serving, you are you can easily be seen. So Many times I would see those men and imagine that maybe they would fall for me, and that's all. My eyes were only there. Actually, my eyes were not out. Like, I would not think of maybe a man of God being outside church or dating someone not within church. I didn't know all that. But then I experienced something that made me remove my focus so much on servants of God. Yes, I got to know that many times we see these men of God maybe standing and preaching. We expect them to be these men who are perfect, who are anointed. We expect them to be these men who are already made, let me say. You see this man who is tongue speaking, spirit filled, he's laying hands on people and they are getting healed. You know, women, we are attracted to very few things, and sometimes we can be attracted to the anointing. We can be anointed to some of those things that we see these men of God do, and we don't focus so much on other things, on other aspects. So there is this one time some man of God came to church, and oh God, it's really hurting that I'm even sharing this. So he was a man of God. Me, I was by that time I was fellowshipping from another church. Then I came and joined in. He had come as a guest minister to preach and all that. It was a youth conference, I remember. So during the youth conference, he was preaching. He was this nice, young, handsome man of God, prophet of God, yes. And when I see a prophet, I was like, God, I just pray that prophet maybe mentions my name or calls me out. So I was just there in the audience, and yeah, people served and what, because by then I just came. I had just traveled back, so I didn't serve, but I was given the front seat. I was just seated in front. Then in my heart, as the man of God was preaching, I was like, oh God, I just pray that this man of God can call my name and give me a prophecy or something like that. So as this man of God was preaching, I don't know how he read my heart and knew what I was thinking about at that moment. So as he was ministering, he was like, you are called Sandra, right? I see this is what you're going through. He talked about specific things I was going through in that particular time of my life, which were actually true. And at that point, I was in a state of conundrums. I was do you know, like when you are on let me see, how do they call it? Well, when you're on a road and there are different routes, you don't know where to go. I was just there in the middle, and I didn't know which road to take, which path to take. Concerning the decision I was to make. There was some new church I had joined. I was thinking of whether to stay there, and there was this man, they were saying he's my husband, and I just had a lot of things boiling in my head. And yet my spirit was telling me, no, he's not my husband, blah, blah, blah. Then I was trying to decide whether to go back to that church or come back to my home church. So I was just thinking, I was just in between there. So this man of God spoke literally what I was going through that time. And then he was like, there are other things the Lord has shown me, but we need to talk one-on-one, me and you. So the way he spoke, it made me feel special. It's like, okay, God is so mindful of me that what I was thinking in my heart, this prophet of God was able to point it out. So I waited for the man of God, and immediately after the service, he called me out. And when he called me out, I was just there. We sat and talked. He was even a good friend to my brother. My brother was also serving in the same church. So I was like, oh God, I always prayed to date a man who is close to my brother, who is also serving God, a man who is spirit-filled, a man who is yes, committed to service and all that. So I was like, yeah, I think this is an answered prayer. And it was obvious that he liked me. So the man of God talked to me. We had a great time that night. Then afterwards, he had to escort me back home because the church was not far away from the pastor's home, and the pastor to the church is my uncle. So he pushed me back home, and he sat with my family and talked to them, and they were also close. So I was happy. I was like, okay, God has brought the man I have finally been praying for all these years. And I rested. So the next day for the conference, the same thing happened until the conference ended. I think it was like a 3 days conference. So I spent some time there. And then the funny thing about this man of God is that he made promises to me. And he was like, there are things the Lord is doing. The Lord has showed me how you're so mindful about your mother. The Lord has said, this is what she's going to do. And he's going to use me to do this and this for your family, for this and this. And my heart was at peace. I'm like, God, this is an answered prayer. Thank you, Lord, for settling me, because my mom, and she's so precious to me that my joy is to see her happy. So I was settled and I was like, okay, let me see. And then there was a job I had recently applied for, because I had spent years at home without having work, and God had miraculously connected me to some company through someone, and I did the interview, I passed it, and the manager called me. That night I was at church with this man of God, and this man of God in particular said, that job is not yours. The Lord wants you to focus on ministry. He's going to be paying you. He's going to be doing this and this. So because I was excited, and this man of God had spoken a lot about my life, my family, everything, I was like, I think this is a true man of God. So I rested with that. Then the most hurting thing that I did, I sent a message to the manager telling him that I will not be taking that job I had been offered. And imagine, after 4 to 5 years of looking for a job and you've not gotten a job, then the time the job comes, someone tells you the job is not yours. So I left. I just sent a message. I turned down the offer. I stayed at church. I kept serving the Lord and got involved with this man of God. He was showing interest in me. He stayed at our church for some time. He even started training us as a choir, as what. This man was so gifted, like he knew a lot of things, and he spoke different languages, including my own mother tongue, that he could easily convince anyone of anything. So I was settled, thinking that he was my answered prayer, and I kept in that place. We kept pushing on. He would text me, but then I got to know he was this kind of guy who would also text other girls in the church. At some point, some girls started looking at me in some way, and then he was this guy who would call everyone darling, sweetheart, what? Then I'm like, how do I differentiate? Is he calling them sweetheart because he's having an intimate relationship with them, or it's just a friendly thing? So that is one thing. It was like a red flag. I didn't like it. And when I spoke to my pastor about it, he was like, no, there are some men of God who are so free. They can call anyone sweetheart, anyone darling, anyone my love. But then I felt concerned because he had shown interest in me. And if he's still calling other girls romantically and calling them sweet names, then how could I differentiate who he had interest in? So what I did, I asked him, and then he was like, no, this and this is how I am, it's you I am interested in. But then some of these girls started looking at me in a certain way, and I was not happy. I didn't know what exactly was going on, but still he always showed them that he had me at heart. Even whenever he would come home, he would want to sit next to me. I would be the one maybe to serve him tea and serve him other things whenever he would come home. So I thought he was that serious, and even my parents, to some extent, they knew about it. So I kept hanging in there. Time came, he left for work. He was also doing some other work aside from ministry. But the time he left, you couldn't reach him. Texting him, you could only text him, but sometimes it could take time without replying. Calling, your calls either don't go through, or when they go through, he doesn't pick. And he was like, with the kind of job that he does, he doesn't just pick calls. He needs to be the one to call. So there are times we would even spend a month without communicating, and then I would feel frustrated. And sometimes whenever I would reach out to him, he would not reply. But then maybe a sister from church would bring maybe their phone to charge from home, and then you find out that he's chatting with that sister, and you're like, what's going on with this guy? Is he playing us or what? So I would get so frustrated, get angry. I'm like, what's happening with this guy? And then the time he calls you, he can call you for like an hour and talk and make promises and doesn't fulfill them. And then the days, maybe I had maybe my birthday or what, and he knew he could not even call me. Even when I would call him to tell him I'm celebrating my birthday or what, he would not. Then maybe he would call a week later. He would not even apologize for not picking up my calls or for not replying to my texts. He was just there, and I was like, God, is this what I prayed for? I don't know whether I'm in a relationship or this is something else. I cannot differentiate between a single person and someone who's in a relationship, because when you're in a relationship, you have to keep communicating to your partner and you open up to each other to build trust. So I was being drained because there was a lot of confusion, there were a lot of red flags, but I chose to ignore some of those things and chose to believe every word that he was telling me. And let alone that I saw, because he was also a prophet of God, I was like, he hears from the Lord, so I know maybe he prayed and maybe the Lord was leading him to date me or what. I couldn't easily just let go of the relationship. So I kept pushing on in that imagine going through all those things, seeing him text sisters, blah blah blah, him being away for long, him not communicating at all, then calling and making empty promises. That kept pushing on for like 2 years. And then I reached a time I'm like, I think I have to make up my mind to either leave this guy or I move forward with my life, because I was not progressing. I was just there waiting on this man to come and marry me. I was not even thinking about building myself, developing myself, going out there. I was no longer thinking about work. All I was thinking about now was serving full-time in church. So there was a time we would meet. We met, I think, a few times outside church. The times maybe he went to work, but his life was so, I don't know, like you can't really tell who he is. You couldn't know anything about his family. His family story was a mystery. His life was a mystery. His work was a mystery. Everything about him was a mystery. And then there was also a time my pastors sat me down and told me, we heard that you're interested in this man of God. We need to tell you that he is married and he has a child. Then I'm like, how come he didn't tell me all this? Me, I have no fault at this because he's the one interested in me and he's the one who opened up to me about his feelings for me. So the next thing I asked the man and he told me, yeah, there is some woman, what, she just has my child, but we are not married. And then I was like, why was he hiding such a thing from me? So I started seeing a lot of red flags and I was not comfortable with that relationship until I decided to let go, because there was a point he had promised me. He told me, I'm going to come and see your family next month. Let me say after those 2 years. And I was like, okay, he's going to come and make his intentions known and tell them his interests in me, and we make plans for marriage and all that. So I waited for this guy and he didn't come. So I was disappointed and I was like, no, Sandra, someone cannot be playing you like this. You can't be seeing the red flags and you choose to ignore them. And one thing I should let you know is that when you fall for someone, when you are already blinded by love, it's hard for you to even discern the voice of God, because there are times the Lord would speak to me, show me the signs, but I couldn't read the signs because I was already deeply in love with this man. So I had to quit the relationship. He didn't break up with me. He didn't do anything that had I decided to disconnect and just stopped talking to him. And then I started my life all together, started looking for work again. When I got a job and started working, there was a time he got my number, started calling me for money and all that. And this guy claimed to be a rich man, but there was no single day he gave me his money or I tested his money. So, and the funny thing, even there were times when he would take me out. Do you know, like, he would order for one plate of food and not order for himself, and then he would look at me and I would not be happy eating and he's not eating, and we end up sharing the plate. So, and this is a man who would claim that he's rich and all that. So the image that he showed before me, like, was not who he was. There was just a lot of deception. But I thank God I let go. I found myself, because sometimes I would find myself giving him money if he needed help or assistance, found myself buying for him things, but then I was like, I'm not going to be deceived. So I disconnected from the relationship and started my own life. And just like that, he's never called, he's never texted. I actually blocked him. But his relationship with my family is still on and everything is going on well. But just those red flags that I saw and I chose not to ignore helped me. And that made me who I am today. If maybe I had chosen to be in that place, maybe I would still be hanging in the line for years. So wherever you are, do not just put your focus on these people and you're like, this man of God, I think is perfect. This man is a Christian, is spirit-filled, is everything. Not everyone who comes to church is who you think they are. You need to pray about it, and not everyone can tell you who to choose or how to choose maybe a spouse. Yes, you need to pray and allow the Holy Spirit of God to guide you and lead you to make the right decisions. So that is how I was able to disconnect, and I thank God for everything. I thank God I had to get healing, but that traumatized me. I was like, I will never fall for any servant of God again, because I used to look at them and admire their life, and I would always see myself as maybe a pastor's wife, maybe, yes, I would always see myself serving. But I got to know that anyone who is born again is a man or woman of God, and they have been given the grace and ability to serve in any sector where they are, maybe at their workplace, anywhere they are, not only in church. So I no longer look at the church ministry, but I look at someone who is God fearing. I look at their character, I look at their service, I look at how they do things. Basically, someone who loves you. Don't look at so much of the spirituality, but also balance these other things and don't ignore the red flags. There are some of you who say, when you see someone's character is somehow, and you're like, no, I think when I'm with them or when we marry, maybe this person will change. Then you forget that it's hard to change man. It's only God who can change someone. Yeah, so thank you all for watching. It was a very bad experience I went through, and I told myself, but it was also a lesson for me. Yeah, because I was so, I don't know, should I say possessed? Not possessed, like I was so much into servants of God. But that taught me, and I learned that not everyone you see standing there is from there. He is the man of God, but when he comes home, he is going to be your man, he's going to be your husband, the father to your children. So you need to make the right choice and not just look at them when they are out there ministering to the people, because when they're out there, the Lord can give them the grace to minister to his people. But what is in the heart of this person, and who truly are they? So yeah, hope you don't make the same mistake. I when I look back and see the opportunity I missed, I was like, this man who was going to give me the job, he was a good man and he gave me the job, but I turned it down. And it's like, this man, to some point, it's like he liked me. I was like, then after a year, I saw him get married. I was like, that maybe would have been me. I cried. I was like, I think this man maybe would have been my husband, and maybe would be doing ministry together, because he had also started an organization. The Lord led him. He was a doctor and he started up an organization to help people. So I was like, I've lost it all, but I have to continue with life. So you should discern the seasons that you're in and not miss out on what the Lord is doing. Yes, I just want you to also be discerning, and not everyone who comes and tell you they're interested in you and they are from church, you should just say yes. And not everyone who says, Lord, Lord, is of the Lord. So you should be careful and prayerful and watchful, because the adversary, the devil, is out there seeking whom to devour. So be careful and do not lose your guard. And even as you're in your waiting time, do not be pressurized to just settle for anyone, to settle for less. And do not think less of yourself because you're seeing other people married. Don't think that you're not good enough for anything. No, your time is yet to come. And then you should also not be, what is this word? I'm forgetting this word. Do not also be so focused on marriage. There is a word they normally use, but I've forgotten it. So that marriage does not become an idol to you. So think of other things to build yourself. Pray about it, and at the right time, the Lord will make everything happen to you. Yes, God bless you. I love you. Thank you for watching. Please share the video to family and friends, and like the video, comment. If maybe you've ever had an experience of your own, you can share it in the comment section. And yeah, we encourage each other in the Lord, and we see where the Lord will take us. I love you. Bye-bye.